name's Simon Waller. I work for a strategic consultancy called Tomorrow at Work. We help organisations identify opportunities and challenges in the changing nature of work. This video focuses on manufacturing in the Yarra Ranges and has been commissioned by the Yarra Ranges Council to aid in the development of their economic development strategy. This is the first of 3 videos. This video will look at some of the global trends that are impacting and influencing the operating environment over a 5 to 10 year time horizon. The second video will then consider how some of these trends are impacting on the nature of work in general. And the third video will then focus on the Yarra Ranges manufacturing sector and the impacts that we might expect to see there. In total, we're going to look at 6 global trends. The first of these trends we're going to consider is the increasing computing power. We often think about increasing computing power in terms of our laptop or our desktop, or increasingly how it affects the computing power of a mobile device such as a smartphone. But increasing computing power is also going to have dramatic impacts on the manufacturing sector. Most notably, we're going to see a dramatic increase in the power of 3D printing technologies. Already we see the ability to print items such as furniture as one-off pieces in a range of materials, including stainless steel. The cost of this is going to continue to fall, and the availability of this technology will continue to go up. We're also going to see an impact of computing power on the accessibility and deployability of robotics in small and medium-sized manufacturers. Traditionally, robotics have only been available for large manufacturers, but the advances in 2nd and 3rd generation computing languages and also the decreasing cost of robotics in general will make these far more accessible. The second trend we're going to consider is that of network growth. The network which connects us people around the world, which is largely driven by internet-based technologies, is reducing the tyranny of distance, geography and time, and allowing us to transfer large amounts of information and knowledge between businesses and their customers, and between customers in a way that we've never been able to before. This network growth is having a dramatic impact on manufacturers by reducing the size of the supply chain and putting manufacturers in more direct contact with the end user. The impact of this over time will be that these end users became a source of ideas for manufacturers and actually become the basis of a new wave of innovation within the manufacturing sector. The third trend we're going to consider is that of resource scarcity. Resource scarcity is going to come about because of dwindling natural reserves, as well as a growing demand for goods and services from an affluent middle class in developing nations. Resource scarcity is going to have a particular impact on manufacturers that are resource and energy intensive, and it's suggested by new scientists that we may have less than 10 years of supply left of key commodities such as lead and silver if demand continues to rise. Ultimately, what this will do is drive new innovations in business models in the manufacturing sector, as we try and find ways of using resources and energy in ways that are more in tune with natural resource and energy flows. Ultimately, the Stone Age didn't end because we ran out of stones, we just found better ways of doing things. The fourth trend we're going to look at is that of demographic shifts. As mentioned previously, there's a growing population abroad that is resulting in increased resource pressure. At home, though, we're going to deal with a different problem associated with an ageing population. Increasingly, we're all going to be part of this conversation about how do we manage an ageing population who continues to be in the workforce, how do we afford the retirement benefits of baby boomers who move into retirement, and also how do we make that retirement an enjoyable and rewarding experience. As well as this, we're also seeing 5 generations in the workforce at the same time for the first time in history. These generations are bringing a different set of values, different motivations and different reasons for being in the workforce to the workplace with them. And this is providing certain challenges and also certain opportunities. The main opportunities we're going to see here is the opportunity for intergenerational learning. An example of this is organisations such as Deloitte and Procter & Gamble, who actually offer reverse mentoring services where their Generation Y employees mentor their baby boomer managers. The fifth trend we're going to consider is globalisation. Globalisation is often associated with the transfer of goods around the world, but it also is associated with the transfer of ideas, of culture, and even of risk. The global financial crisis has shown us that whether you be a manufacturer, a financial services company, a technology company, although you may have short-term financial benefits of having a global supply chain and a global customer base, this can dramatically increase risk associated with those endeavours. Even local manufacturers who only deal in a local market are impacted by this globalisation. The increase in interconnectedness and complexity of the environment that we operate in means that we need to be much more aware of what these global risks are. The final trend we're going to consider is the diversification of social values. An increased interconnectedness and a greater awareness of the social and environmental challenges that we're dealing with on a global level is meaning that people are experimenting with new ways of living and working. This diversification of social values is also directly related to an increased expectation of government and business to work in a way that's ethical and transparent. Consumers are much more aware and they're making much more informed decisions about the types of products they buy and who they buy them from. This shift in social values is also affecting the social license to operate that many organisations need to employ. This is the end of the first video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please check out the second video to see how these trends are impacting on the general nature of business.